Making the headlines tonight. Timor-Leste's foreign minister met with Prime Minister Hun Sen and requested the ASEAN chair to facilitate Timor-Leste's membership to ASEAN. Lieutenant General Hun Manet has said that Cambodia has been able to stand strong, maintain stability and complete peace until now, and should not have a populist politician that reduces the efforts of teachers, parents, and guardians. Britain's Prince Andrew has asked for a U.S. jury trial as he continues to deny accusations of sexual abuse. Ice-making technicians and volunteer coordinators at the Zhangjiakou competition zone in Hebei province are busy wrapping up their preparation work. And a look at how Cambodians in Phnom Penh are preparing for the upcoming 2022 Lunar New Year celebration. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Darshana Gochan. Timor-Leste's Foreign Minister Adalgisa Magno requested the ASEAN chair, Prime Minister Hun Sen, to facilitate ASEAN mechanisms to include Timor-Leste as an ASEAN member, as well as to send technicians to study Cambodia. Minister Adalgisa Magno told Prime Minister Hun Sen in a meeting on Friday morning that Timor-Leste thanks Cambodia for its continued support since Timor-Leste gained sovereignty. She also asked Cambodia to help move forward the country's application for ASEAN membership after years of waiting. Prime Minister Hun Sen's personal assistant, Ieng Sopalet, told reporters after the meeting that the foreign minister respectfully requested Prime Minister Hun Sen to allow technicians from Timor-Leste to come to Cambodia and study being a World Trade Organization member within the ASEAN community, and also respectfully requested his assistant as the ASEAN chair for Timor-Leste ASEAN membership. In response, Prime Minister Hun Sen stated that Cambodia has always supported Timor-Leste membership for ASEAN, and in the future will push for ASEAN economic and cultural development and strive to organize fact-finding missions in Timor-Leste as soon as possible to assess and prepare a roadmap and a clear timeline for the inclusion of Timor-Leste as a member of ASEAN. He also welcomed the sending of technicians from Timor-Leste to study becoming a member of the WTO and ASEAN. During the meeting, Prime Minister Hun Sen and Minister Adalgisa Magno also discussed and promoted trade between the two countries, with the Timor-Leste side requesting the Prime Minister's recommendation to promote economic and trade cooperation between the two countries. In this regard, Prime Minister Hun Sen urged for the implementation of agreements and memoranda previously agreed between the two countries, as well as the establishment of new trade agreements such as free trade agreements, non-duplication tariffs, and investment agreements between the two countries. He also asked Timor-Leste to consider buying rice from Cambodia, as well as to welcome Timor-Leste investors to invest in Cambodia's agricultural sector. Article 64 of the ASEAN Charter of 2008 stipulates that in order for a state to become a member, it must be recognized by all ASEAN member states, have a binding agreement to the ASEAN Charter, and have the ability and willingness to perform the duties of membership. Since gaining independence from Indonesia in 2002, the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste has repeatedly expressed its desire to join ASEAN. In 2011, the country filed an official application for ASEAN membership. However, this intention was not welcomed by most members. Timor-Leste is currently an ASEAN observer, while the ASEAN Working Group is examining the country's political, economic, and cultural situation before deciding whether to allow its membership. The Minister of Economy and Finance, Deputy Prime Minister Onpon Monirot, has said as Cambodia reopens the country, the government needs to focus on logistics and transportation to reduce the cost of selling products to international markets. He urged the Ministry of Public Works and Transportation to address the challenges and accelerate some work in 2022, including asking the ministry to focus on the quality of infrastructure. EAC News reporter Srai Porkong has more.
Speaking at the closing ceremony of the meeting to review the work of public work and transportation in 2021 and to set the direction of work in 2022 at the Ministry of Public Work and Transport on Friday afternoon, Deputy Prime Minister Onpon Monirot instructed the Minister of Public Work and Transport to finalize the master plan on transportation, the mean and logistic to facilitate cross-border transportation, the facilitation of trade and cross-border trade, and the improvement of infrastructure at international border crossings, as well as to build and improve some major national roads by accepting only those projects that fit the standard and are in accordance with the required technical specifications. The Economy and Finance Minister also promoted the construction of sewerage infrastructure, the development of railways and waterways, and also promoted the training and development of human resources in the technical field of public work and transportation, thus helping to improve the quality of service to the people. The Minister of Public Works and Transport, Senior Minister Sun Chan-thol, also spoke at the closing ceremony and said that in 2022 the ministry has agreed to set a year for the improvement of transport infrastructure, climate change resilience, construction management, and the quality maintenance of both roads and bridges, focusing on the use of modern technology. He pledged to make more effort to implement the set direction of the work by ensuring that it will be conducted accurately, meticulously, and with high-quality standard to avoid repetitive work. In 2021, Cambodia completed several infrastructure projects, such as the construction of the Cambodia-China Stang Trong Pro Chma Friendship Bridge, the project to improve the road network on the National Road 2, National Road 3, National Road 5, and the National Road and 7 Bridge project in Prey Vang Province. Additionally, the construction of 38 road infrastructure in Siem Reap and Sihanouk Ville have so far reached 90% completion, and the ministry is also conducting studies for more new projects in 2022. Sri Pokung, EAC News.
The U.S. Ambassador to Cambodia, W. Patrick Murphy, has spoken in support of Cambodia's 2022 ASEAN chairmanship, saying that Cambodia's success in leading ASEAN this year is a success for the region as a whole. Speaking at the inauguration of AMCAM 2022 to celebrate the 45th anniversary of U.S.-ASEAN relations on Thursday evening at the U.S. Embassy in Phnom Penh, Patrick Murphy stated that there are many issues that Cambodia will need to address as chair of ASEAN in 2022, and expressed support for the progress that has been made so far in addressing these challenges. He said that if Cambodia succeeds as chair of ASEAN, we will all be equally successful, because this success is tantamount to progress on recovering from the global pandemic, ensuring maritime security, climate change, the crisis in Myanmar, and more. Also speaking at the ceremony, the Minister for ASEAN Affairs in the Cabinet of the Prime Minister of Cambodia, Kao Kim Hoon, thanked the United States for valuing the ASEAN community and Cambodia's role as chair, and said Cambodia regards the United States as an important partner and strategic partner of ASEAN. Minister Kao Kim Hoon said that as the chair of ASEAN in 2022, Cambodia would like to express its full commitment to work closely with all ASEAN member states, the ASEAN Secretariat, and of course with all ASEAN dialogue partners, including the United States. Addressing the meeting with ASEAN Secretary-General Dato Lim Jock Hoi on 17 January 2022, Prime Minister Hun Sen said that the work that ASEAN needs to do this year includes the revitalization of the ASEAN economy, preparing for the 20th anniversary of the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, the ASEAN Pacific Initiative, working on Timor-Leste membership, and organizing a summit to push for economic recovery from the COVID-19 crisis. He further stressed that ASEAN cannot spend time thinking only about Myanmar. The chairman of the Fifth National Assembly, Suyara, has said that the crisis in Ukraine has a long and complicated history, making it very difficult to resolve. He made this remark during a roundtable discussion held at the Royal Academy of Cambodia on Friday morning. EAC News reporter Chamrong Ritisit has more.
Speaking at a roundtable discussion on the tension between NATO and the Russian Federation at the Royal Academies of Cambodia on Friday's morning, Suyara spoke about the histories of European issues that only became stabilized in the mid-19th century by the Paris Charters in 1990 and the 1994 Budapest Memorandums on Security Assurance. He added that the intention of Ukraine to enter NATO by the next president has raised Russia's concerns, especially regarding the missiles that could be deployed by NATO in the country. He said, now the Ukraine issue has become a game of US and Russian powers, with one key point being the Air Force. Suyara elaborated by saying that Russia and the United States have agreed on the terms of what is considered a war, which involves a war in the air. He said the word helicopters had been adopted into these agreements a few days ago. So as long as there are no Russian helicopters flying into Ukraine airspace and vice versa, then the countries involved will not consider this a war. He continued that there is a possibility of ground battle, which would be considered a land clash, but the key technicality in labeling the conflict between Russia and Ukraine as a war will depend on the use of aerial warfare. He added that the case of Ukraine can be studied in the context of the ASEAN region, considering which countries are subordinate states and which countries need high art in response to the political geography of superpowers. He further continued that he always says if Ukraine had a leader like Prime Minister Hun Sen, then they may have been able to find a way out of the conflict. But if there is a crisis of leadership, like there currently in Ukraine, then it is very difficult to resolve. He stressed that this is why it is important for Cambodia to maintain whatever unity exists sound its leaders. Sujara concluded that in the context of geopolitical competitions, the establishment of a neutral, non-aligned country as practiced by Cambodia and Prime Minister Hun Sen is the most appropriate way to avoid any threat to security and national peace. Chumrong Ratisit, EAC News.
The Ministry of Tourism and the National Commission for the Evaluation of Clean Cities have issued an announcement on the procedures and criteria for the Capital Provincial Administrative Competition under the Cambodia Safe and Green Tourism Destinations campaign. EAC News reporter Straipor Kong has more.
The competition aims to encourage the effort of Capital Provincial Administration to implement tourism safety rules and implement minimum standard operating procedure (SOPs) for living in a new normal, especially to remind all tourism businesses to participate in prevention and protection against COVID-19 so they can maintain confidence and provide warmth to tourists traveling throughout Cambodia. The ministry also confirmed that the Capital Provincial Administration must participate in the Capital Provincial Administration competition, which will start from 27 January 2022 to 30 December 2022, and the National Committee for Clean City Evaluation. The Ministry of Tourism will announce the winner on the occasion of the National Clean City Day 2023. The Capital and Provincial Administration will provide ratings on 3 levels: excellent, good, and moderate level. Cambodia announced the launch of the Cambodia Safe and Green Tourism Destinations campaign on 27 January to ensure the success of the reopening of the international tourism ahead of the upcoming event and celebration in Cambodia such as the Southeast Asian Games. Sepokung, EAC News.
Saudi Arabia has met with Cambodia to expand cooperation in the field of tourism and flight connectivity between the two countries after Cambodia announced the Cambodia Safe and Green Tourism Destinations campaign. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
During a meeting with Saudi Arabia's ambassador to Cambodia, Sud FM Ali Solim, on Thursday at the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Tourism, Tong Kong, stated that the two sides were aiming to arrange direct flights between Saudi Arabia and Cambodia to promote the exchange of tourists between the two countries, as well from visitors from other countries. He added that this direct flight connection can be made in the form of a triangle between Phnom Penh, Sihanoukville, and Siem Reap, or just between the two capital cities of Riyadh and Phnom Penh. The Saudi ambassador confirmed to Minister Tong Kong that starting from May, Saudi Arabia will begin flights between Riyadh to Bangkok and Bangkok to Phnom Penh. He further accepted the new direct flight proposal and promised to raise it with the Saudi government to speed up the work in the near future. Cambodia has put in place various strategic policies to reopen tourism in the region, including the launch of the roadmap for the restoration and the promotion of tourism in and after the COVID-19 crisis, as well as a strategy for vaccination tourism. The government also announced the launch of Cambodia's Safe and Green Tourism Destinations campaign on Thursday. Minister Tong Kon affirmed that Cambodia is a safe tourist designation, something which was recently demonstrated by the Asian Tourism Forum 2022 held in Sihanoukville. He also proposed that the Saudi ambassador the expedition on the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding on the cooperation in the field of tourism between the two countries. The Cambodian side has recently sent the draft of memorandum to Saudi Arabia is awaiting a response. The two sides also discussed boosting the number of Muslim tourists coming to Cambodia, with the Minister of Tourism saying that Cambodia has already made plans to attract more Muslim tourists. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 38 new COVID-19 cases, of which 9 are imported. There have been 17 patient recoveries and once again, 0 deaths. The kingdom recorded 29 new community and 9 new imported cases of the Omicron variant. Cambodia has now recorded 747 cases of Omicron, 450 imported, 297 community cases. Cambodia's COVID-19 case tally has now climbed to 121,188. The death toll stands at 3,015. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 117,303, and the tally for imported cases has climbed to 20,307. Healthcare workers are currently treating a total of 837 patients. Britain's Prince Andrew on Wednesday, January 26th, has asked for a U.S. jury trial as he has again denied Virginia Giuffre's accusations that he sexually abused her more than 2 decades ago when she was only 17.
Virginia Giuffre, 38, has sued the Duke of York last August, alleging he battered her while the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was trafficking her. In a filing with the U.S. District Court in Manhattan, Andrew, 61, has admitted to meeting Epstein in or around 1999, but denied Giuffre's claim that he committed sexual assault and battery upon her. David Voice, a lawyer of Giuffre, has said in a statement that Andrew was trying to blame the victim. We look forward to confronting Prince Andrew with his denials and attempts to blame Ms. Giuffre for her own abuse, Voice has said. Andrew's ties to Epstein, who killed himself in a Manhattan jail cell in 2019 while awaiting a trial on sex abuse charges, have undermined his reputation with the public and his standing in Britain's royal family. Earlier this month, the family has removed Andrew's military links and military patronages and has said the second son of Queen Elizabeth would no longer be known as His Royal Highness. Andrew's filing was an answer a common document in U.S. legislation in which defendants deny or say they lack enough information to comment on plaintiffs' substantive accusations. The prince's lawyers had previously called Giuffre's lawsuit baseless and accused her of seeking another payday. Giuffre has received $500,000 in a 2009 civil settlement with Epstein. U.S. District Judge Louis Kaplan has said a trial could begin between September and December 2022.
The European Union's drug regulator on Thursday, January 2nd, has given the green light to Pfizer's antiviral COVID-19 pill for treating adults at risk of severe illness as the region scrambles to boost its arsenal to fight the Omicron variant.
This endorsement by the European Medicines Agency for the conditional approval, if allowed as usual by the European Commission, allows European Union member states to deploy the drug after the regulator gave guidance in its emergency use late last year. Italy, Germany and Belgium are among the handful of European Union countries that have bought the drug branded Paxlovid. In December, the United States authorized the use of Paxlovid and Merck's similar drug, Molnupiravir. These oral drugs, especially Pfizer's, are seen as promising new treatment options that can be taken at home to treat the onset of COVID-19 symptoms to help prevent hospitalizations and deaths. Paxlovid, a 2-drug antiviral regimen, was found to have nearly 90% efficiency in preventing hospitalizations and deaths in patients at a high-risk severe illness. According to data from the company's clinical trial, recent lab data suggests the drug also retains its effectiveness against Omicron variant.
Carbonado black diamonds, known as the Enigma, are quite rare to begin with. Their origin and formation are shrouded in mystery because there are not that many of them found on Earth.
The mysterious black diamond is also known as Carbonado diamond or more famous as the Enigma. There are only two places in the world that carbonado of this structure have been found, Brazil and Central African Republic. The curator of mineral sciences at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles, geologist Dr. Aaron Celestian, has said on Wednesday, January 26, that the Carbonado diamond is shrouded in mystery as the origin of formation because there's not that many of them found on Earth. It is a very rare one.
We think that most carbonados are about 2.6 to 3.2 billion years old. That dates back, the Earth is only 4.65 billion years old, so this is dating back close to major Earth events that are taking place back then, like plate tectonics and oxygenation of the Earth's atmosphere.
It has not been exhibited before, and the price from $4 and $7 million. However, for someone like Dr. Celestian, the gem is priceless. I would love to get my hand on this diamond, he has admitted. Scientists have been theorizing about the origin of the Carbonado diamonds. However, because not enough is known about processing deep within the Earth, as well as nebula formation in space, they are at a loggerhead. Celestian has said, "We think that they could have formed super deep within the Earth's interior, far deeper than what we know of already diamonds. There's hypotheses that suggest that they form at impact size, where a large asteroid hit Earth, causing a carbon on the surface of the Earth to grow into these carbonados. And there's also interstellar hypothesis that suggests that they grew in space and then later fell on the surface of Earth. So we don't know actually where they came from." He has said research into the diamond would tell us a lot about what deep Earth's interior mineralogy is like. What is the Earth made of? And we just don't know the answer to this question because we can't sample down the deep. With diamond like this is a rare opportunity for us to see what exactly some of those materials are from the deep Earth's interior. Celestian has also added, or if it did come from space, what it would tell us is the evolution of our solar system, information about the evolution of planets in our solar system, and that's also quite exciting. So no matter what, I think really exciting research could come from this type of stones.
And now for a look at newsmaking international headlines this Friday, 28th January.
A new oil leak has occurred at a refinery near Peru's capital Lima on Tuesday during cleanup of the January 15 major spill, according to the Environmental Assessment and Control Agency under the Environment Ministry. There's been a fresh oil leak at a refinery off the coast of Peru. Authorities say it happened during the work on an underwater pipeline at the La Pampilla refinery, owned by Spanish energy giant Repsol. It comes as the country grapples with a massive oil spill earlier this month, triggered by the volcanic eruption in the South Pacific Ocean. Residents in the capital Lima are now taking part in a unique campaign to tackle the mess. The operation was a necessary part of the investigation into the cause of the first spill. About 8 barrels of remaining crude oil in the pipeline spilled out, which has already been cleaned up. Repsol has denied there had been a second leak. Oil collection along the coastline is still underway. Local authorities have asked Repsol to complete the work within 7 days. The first oil spill occurred on January 15 when an oil tanker was unloading at one of the terminals of the refinery. The crude oil spill was estimated to be at about 6,000 barrels, affecting about 1.8 square kilometers of coastline and 7.1 square kilometers of sea, according to the Environmental Assessment and Control Agency. Calling it one of the most important ecological disasters on the coast in recent years, the Peruvian government has declared a 90-day environmental emergency in the coastal area of Lima last Saturday. In response to Peru's request for international aid, a team of UN experts on environmental disasters arrived in Peru on Monday to assist the cleanup of the oil spill.
Two gunmen killed an Argentine man who managed a popular club in Playa del Carmen at Mexico Riviera Maya tourist resort, local authorities reported on Wednesday. Federico Mazzoni, the manager of Mamitas Beach Club, popular with foreign tourists, was shot twice in the head on Tuesday afternoon, confirmed Oscar Montes de Oca, state prosecutor in Quintana Roo, where the resort is located. The prosecutor's office of Quintana Roo state began the inquiry into the matter and security forces were dispatched to the area. Montes de Oca had indicated that the most solid line of investigation is that the crime had to do with the sale of drugs. The attackers fled on a jet ski, according to images captured by security cameras. The crime occurred when the club had a few customers and was about to close, according to the prosecutor. This Mexican beach designation has been recently marred by violent crimes targeting foreign citizens. Just last week at a hotel near Cancun, Mexican state prosecutors that two Canadians with criminal records have been killed in what authorities consider a debt dispute linked to the international crime activities on Tuesday, 25th of January.
Thousands of farm fish have died from cold in a lagoon in northwestern Greece after a heavy snowstorm has crippled the country this week. The dead fish, all sea bream and white sea bream in the ritual lagoon of the Diprano Lake in Igoumenitsa, have appeared early on Tuesday, after temperature in the lagoon has dropped as low as 0 degrees Celsius. They died from thermal shock, said a local geologist Konstantinos Padikaris from the Department of Fishery who visited the lagoon on Tuesday. The sea bream species are sensitive to low temperature and cannot survive below 4 degrees Celsius, said Padikaris. Usual temperature in the lagoon at this time of year are about 7 to 8 degrees Celsius, he said. The fish were at a shallow depth, where the cold was quicker to penetrate the water. At shallow depth, the reaction of the air is more intense, Padikaris has added. A footage showed thousands of dead fish floating on the surface in the water and on the shore of the lagoon. The fish belong to a local state-owned fish farm, and due to their containment in enclosure in the lagoon, they could not swim out to the deeper depth of the lake or sea to survive. Every year, we free them into the lake, but this year, unfortunately, we did not have the chance to free them in time because the frost came quickly, said fish farm cultivator Ioannis Uzunoglu, who worked at the farm as he gathered the pile of dead fish from the lagoon onto a robot. The fish farm contained more than 600,000 fish of various species. Some 50 tons of fish were destroyed. Other species were not harmed.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
តើលោកអ្នកចិត្តរៀបអាពាហ៍ពិពាហ៍មែនទេហើយពិបាករកក្រុមហ៊ុនថតវីដេអូផ្សាយផ្ទាល់ដែលមានគុណភាពមែនទេអស់កង្វល់រ៉ាទីកាជាក្រុមហ៊ុនទទួលស្គាល់លំដាប់អន្តរជាតិលើសេវាកម្មថតផ្សាយផ្ទាល់គ្រប់កម្មវិធីកម្រិត 4K ដំបូងបង្អស់នៅកម្ពុជារ៉ាទីកាប្រើប្រាស់ឧបករណ៍ទំនើបម៉ាកល្បីធានាគុណភាពការផលិតតាមបច្ចេកវិទ្យាទាន់សម័យរ៉ាទីកានឹងជួយធ្វើឲ្យកម្មវិធីលោកអ្នកកាន់តែមានភាពអស្ចារ្យលោកអ្នកនឹងបានឃើញរាល់សកម្មភាពក្នុងពិធីទៅលើកញ្ចក់ទូរទស្សន៍ទំហំធំកម្រិត 4K និងការបញ្ចាំងលើផ្ទាំងក្រណាត់សព្រមទាំង LED ដែលមានរូបភាពច្បាស់ត្រជាក់ភ្នែកសូមអញ្ជើញកក់ពីឥឡូវនេះតាមរយៈលេខទូរស័ព្ទ012 823 848 017 838 889និង016 823 848រ៉ាទីកាទំនុកចិត្តការទទួលខុសត្រូវនិងគុណភាពខ្ពស់
something, you about to see something. It's coming, we're unstoppable now. Ain't nothing gonna take us down, we're unstoppable now. Fade to black, take a bow, yeah. We're unstoppable now.
With the opening ceremony of the Beijing Winter Olympics just 7 days away, ice-making technicians and volunteer coordinators at Zhangjiakou Competition Zone in North China's Hebei province are busy wrapping up their preparation work.
On Wednesday, a group of technicians began the final ice-making process on the two ski jumping tracks of the National Ski Jumping Center. The venue is nicknamed Snow Royi, as the structure resembles a traditional Chinese ornament of that name, symbolizing good fortune. During the ski jumping competition, athletes will go down the takeoff ramp and launch themselves up high. The thickness of ice crust covering the tracks are crucial to the safety and performance of skiers during the events, with less than 5 millimeters of error allowed. The technicians have said they expect to complete the ice-making process in 4 days. Meanwhile, volunteer coordinator at Zhangjiakou's Guyangshu cluster, consisting of the National Ski Jumping Center, the National Cross-Country Skiing Center, and the National Biathlon Center, have welcomed the arrival of the last batches of volunteers on Tuesday. The volunteers, including university students, will provide a wide range of services during the Winter Olympic Games from February 4 to 20 and Paralympic Games from March 4 to 13. Zhangjiakou has recruited some 7,000 volunteers for the upcoming games from around 190,000 applications. More than 4,000 will be working at the venues and some 2,000 will be dispatched to various locations across the city. As a popular ski destination, Zhangjiakou is about 180 kilometers northwest of Beijing, connected by highway and a high-speed rail line. It will stage the majority of the ski and snowboard events, including freestyle, cross-country, ski jumping, Nordic combined, and biathlon.
Swedish biathlete Sebastian Samuelsson showed nerves of steel at the Pyeongchang Olympics to win gold in relay and silver in the men's pursuit, and is hoping to rediscover his best shooting form in time for the Beijing Games after a tough couple of seasons.
The outspoken 24-year-old went through something of a slump after his 2018 triumphs, but bounced back to take 2 silver and 2 bronze medals at the 2021 World Championships, rekindling his Olympic dreams. I took 2 medals in the last Olympics, and after that, I think I struggled a little bit in the first 2 years with my performances, Sebastian Samuelsson has recalled. It was good, but it was not the great results that I hoped for. I have struggled with that, and I think it also comes with a lot of pressure on myself, he has said matter of fact. I feel now, 4 years later, maybe I've grown into this costume a little bit better, and this season so far has worked very good for me. So I'm hoping to fight for the medals again, he hopefully said. Nowhere is the pressure more apparent in biathlon than when shooting, as athletes try to slow their pulse and breathing so they can hit the tiny targets 50 meters away. The biathlete says, for us, it's very important to change between skiing and shooting because skiing is so much adrenaline and you have to push a lot and you stress yourself. Faster, faster, the whole time. But when you get into the shooting range, suddenly you need to be calm and do things methodically. Samuelsson and his teammates swished across the packed snow, gliding in and lying in a prone position before rattling off their 5 shots and skiing off again for another lap. On the practice range with the rest of the team, there are no signs of any nerves or pressure from the smiling Samuelsson as the team make their final preparations.
Iraqi soccer players practiced on Wednesday, January 26th, ahead of a match with Iran in a World Cup Asian qualifiers match.
Iraq and Iran will be competing with the other members of their group to secure a spot in the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. The Iranian lead Group A with 16 points after 6 matches, 2 points clear of South Korea, and a further 8 ahead of the United Arab Emirates. The top 2 finishers in each of Asia qualifying group are set to join host Qatar at the final, and with 4 games remaining. A winning over Iraq would take Iran through.
And now for a look at how the weather will be playing out tomorrow. And finally, although in Cambodia there is a traditional Khmer New Year, another traditional New Year celebration that is popular with most people in the country is the Lunar New Year. The festival is celebrated by many Cambodians of Chinese descent at home as well as in Chinese temples, although it is not a national holiday. As the festival draws close, many have put up bright red lanterns on their doors, windows, and other places in their homes, and yellow fortune flowers like gold adorn the houses as well. They believe that offering New Year angels on the occasion of the Lunar New Year will bring them happiness and wealth and will shield them from any misfortunes. The 2022 Lunar New Year starts on 31st January and will last until 2nd February. In Phnom Penh, you can find colorful flowers, especially yellow fortune flowers, as well as some home decorations, such as yellow and red paper lanterns in the markets, as well as on the streets. Food being widely sold in vendor stalls include roast pig, roast chicken, and Chinese spices. Vendors at each stall are busy selling these items to customers with almost no time to rest. According to Chinese mythology, one day an animal named Nian, meaning year in Chinese, came to slaughter livestock, villagers, and especially children. To protect themselves, the villagers put food in front of their houses every year. It is believed that after Nian eats the offered food, it will no longer harm the people. The villagers once saw Nian scared of children dressed in red, which made them realize that he was afraid of the color red. Therefore, when the new year comes, the villagers wear red and put up red lanterns and red paper decorations on their doors and windows. The villagers also use fireworks to drive Nian away. After that, Nian never came back to the village again. A trader in Orasai Market is busy selling items for the Lunar New Year. Past 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and there are still a lot of guests coming to buy various items at her stall. The stall owner said that customers started coming to buy Chinese New Year gifts at the beginning of the month and had more customers than last year. She said that people come to buy lanterns and red paper to display at home because they understand that red is a color that chases evil and makes evil spirits not dare to harass their families. In addition, there is gold and silver paper to burn as offerings to ancestors who have passed away, as well as fireworks. The seller says she understands that such rituals really help families prosper and have good fortune throughout the year.
We hang lantern on the walls of the house to raise our feng shui zodiac sign, and fireworks will be lit regularly. In China, they like to light fireworks. They hang them in front of their houses. They can burn them and make a lot of noise. We offer food and water to our ancestors. We decorate the house to get good fortune throughout the year, to wish us all to be healthy in our house, and to allow money to flow in at once.
One of the customers who came to buy various materials and decorations, Kain Kim Leng, thinks that making offerings as well as decorating one's house according to the Chinese tradition brings good fortune to that person, as he observes this ceremony being held every year.
We do it based on the belief of most Chinese people with red and gold color bring good fortune to their property every year. In my personal opinion, I think it is normal if they celebrate this every year. It means it really brings good fortune and good luck to their house. That's why they do it every year.
The materials he buys includes red lanterns, paper, small gold bars, and fortune flowers. Heng Li, a roast pig seller at Orasai Market, said that this year there were more buyers than last year after the government reopened the country. Customers order about 10 to 20 pigs a day, and the price of roasted pigs and chickens are higher than usual but at an acceptable level.
This year, the sales are a bit better than last year. We're not nervous about COVID-19 because we have maintained strict protections. We have sold out since the beginning of January quite frequently. But we do not know if sales can be more than last year because there are not many orders. Generally, pigs weighing 10 kilos or more, we usually weigh the price on a normal day from $17.15 to $18.4. But on the day of the offering, the price goes up accordingly because the goods we bring in are also more expensive. Prices are expensive but acceptable.
A florist in Bang Prolit, Simsaret, said that most customers come to buy only fortune flowers, marigold flowers, and oranges to display because they understand that all these plants in the house will bring prosperity, good fortune, and good luck to them.
This is the Chinese New Year. So since it is the Chinese traditions, we sell out a lot of this day. But we usually are not busy until the Chinese New Year. It becomes very busy during the Chinese New Year. Most people come to buy lucky plants, orange trees, yellow fortune flowers. They represent luck in business and wealth. And the orange trees bring good fortune to their homes. All of these plants are expensive, but if they spend money to buy it, it will bring them good fortune. This year, they would earn good fortune, and next year they will also earn it.
At the shrines in Phnom Penh, especially at Wat Phnom, people who believe in the Chinese tradition will gather to pray for peace and safeguard against curses and bad luck, according to Chinese rituals. People climb up and down the stone stairs at Wat Phnom to make their prayers. Smoke of incense filled the shrine. Raksamnang, an elder who lives in Niekta Preo Chao Temple, said that this year more people came to visit the temple than last year since the COVID-19 situation has improved. Most people coming to make their prayers are of Chinese descent, who believe in the power of their ancestors and ask for peace in the family, take various vows, and hope to cure their bad luck.
This years, at the end of the years, our people who he turned away from at the beginning of the years came to say goodbye to his grandfather, who came to thank him for helping him to have a healthy business that years. In particular, some of the people who came to cure their bad lucks because this year some Chinese zodiac signs such as the tiger, monkey, snakes, and pigs are said to have bad luck. So people who are born with these zodiac signs come to pray and cure themselves of bad lucks and ask for prosperity.
The Lunar New Year is 3 days long, and these days are considered the most special days where people should not do anything dirty or bad that could impact the happiness of the new year. People have to be in a good mood and bring glory to themselves and their families. Some even forbid themselves to cry, dress up but do not wash their hair, do not enter other people's rooms, and do not break dishes or glasses during the 3 days of the new year. One of the citizens who came to pray at Niekta Preo Chao, Paing Vong Ratanak, said that he came to the temple to cure the bad luck for his son. He expressed his strong belief in the preparation of ceremonies during the Lunar New Year. He said good execution of the traditions and ceremonies will allow families to avoid danger and receive good luck indeed.
Well, this is a Chinese tradition. It depends on the belief. Some people believe it, some not. It depends on the individual. But for those who follow Buddhism in China, I believe we are here to cure our bad luck and bring good fortunes.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, you can check out our website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.